Assalamualaikum. My name is Shajeda Ambola and I will be discussing the end chapter questions for chapter 7, which is about inventories. Now let us discuss about the first problem, which is about true or false. So for the first statement, according to the GAM for NGAS, inventories of government entities are subsequently measured at net realizable value or current replacement cost, depending on whether the inventory is classified as held for sale or held for distribution. This statement is true because the goods held for sale are subsequently measured at lower of cost and net realizable value, while goods held for distribution are subsequently measured at the lower cost and current replacement cost. For the second statement, according to the GAM for NGAS, purchases of machinery, equipment, furniture and fixtures, and similar items below the 10,000 capitalization threshold of property, plant, and equipment are recorded as inventories. This statement would be false. The statement that make it false would be the amount of 10,000. It should be items below the 15,000 capitalization, and that's why this statement is false. So for the third statement, we have relief goods, office supplies, equipment, and furniture and fixtures are items that may appropriately be recorded as inventories by a government entity. This statement is true because relief goods can be distributed, office supplies are consumed by the entity, equipment and furniture and fixtures, if they are below the 15,000 capitalization, then they can be considered as semi expendable property. So therefore, this statement is true because they may appropriately be recorded as inventories by the government entity. So for the fourth statement, the GAM for NGAS allows government entities to use the FIFO cost flow formula. This statement is false. This statement is false because of the word FIFO cost flow formula. It should be the reason because FIFO and periodic inventory system are not used by the government entities. So for the fifth statement, the GAM for NGAS allows the government entities to use a periodic inventory system. So the answer for this statement would be false. The same reason as the last statement, both FIFO and periodic inventory systems are not used by the government entities. So for the sixth statement, the specific identification cost formula is not available for use by government entities according to the GAM for NGAS. This statement is false once again because of the phrase not available. Specific identification and weighted average cost under perpetual inventory system are used by the government entities. Therefore, in this statement, specific identification cost formula is available for the use of government of entities. That's why this statement is false because it is stated that it is not available for the use of government entities. So for the seventh statement, the purchase request or PR form is prepared when end users request for the issuance of items of inventory that are available on stock. So this statement is false. There are two words or phrases that make this statement false. For the first phrase, we have that are available on stock. The reason for that is if we are focusing on the purchase request or PR form, purchase request form is for the issuance of items of inventories that are not available on stock. So, on the second phrase or words also is the purchase request. It can be RIS or request and issue slip, where the RIS is the issuance of items of inventory that are available on stock. So that's why this statement is false because the words are interchanged. So the eighth statement, if the beginning balance of inventory is 50, the net purchases are 100 and the cost of goods sold is 30 pesos. The ending inventory must be 120. This statement is obviously true because if we are going to make T account, then we can already calculate that the ending inventory is 120 according to the specific identification cost flow. So we have the fact pattern. Entity A government entity, sells eggs. At the start of the period, Entity A's inventory consisted of one red egg with a carrying amount of 2 pesos. And during the period, Entity A acquired one brown egg for 3 pesos and one blue egg for 4 pesos. Entity A sold the brown egg during the period. So for the ninth statement, under the specific identification cost formula, entity A's cost of sale is 2 pesos. So this statement is false because under the specific identification cost formula, the cost of sale must be 3 pesos because the cost of sale represents the actual cost of the specific item sold according to the specific identification cost formula. So it should be 3 instead of 2 because the price of the brown egg is 3 pesos. It is not, we are not applying the FIFO method here, which the carrying amount of the red egg is 2 because we are selling the brown egg instead of the red egg. So what is the cost of the brown egg shall be the cost of sale of the brown egg sold. So for the 10th statement, if the eggs are ordinarily interchangeable, entity A's cost of sale is 2.5, assuming that the sale occurred only after all purchases were made. So this statement is false because the cost of sale instead of 2.5, it should also still be 3 pesos. Because if we are going to calculate using the moving average cost formula, it should be red egg 2 pesos with the additional brown egg 3 pesos and the blue egg 4 pesos is equals to 9 pesos, and we are going to get the average which is divided by 3. And the reason that we divided by 3 because we have 3 eggs rather, and then it was stated that after all purchases were made, that the brown egg was sold during the period. So I guess that would be all for the true or false problem in the end chapter questions, and let's meet again for the second part of the problem.